things what you're going to need here at Yale, all right? And I think this probably is trickles down to every high-end academic institution. We need guys who are going to challenge themselves, all right? So obviously you can get straight A's in your high school taking the easiest courses. I think a place like this is going to look at that and say, this isn't a young man to challenge himself. You want to do that within reason. If you take 10 APs and you fail a couple of them, that's probably not going to bode well in the future. All right. So we typically have 2 or 3 guys. I should say our guys take 2 or 3 APs when they're eligible. As soon as they're eligible, some schools only offer that in their junior year, some not till their senior year, but some all the way through. So if guys would take 2 or 3 APs, as long as they are allowed to take them, honors and AP classes, our admissions office looks favorably upon that. Okay. We are a test hybrid university right now. Some schools are test optional. Okay. So you not knowing where you're going to end up, I would encourage you to take the SAT and ACT now. Okay. Regardless of how you do, if you end up choosing a school that doesn't need it, and there will be no record of it. But you should probably take it now and see kind of where you fall as soon as possible. I wouldn't put it off to the point where you want to go to a school and they're saying, hey, we're going to need your SATs to be here. Okay. All of this is kind of under the umbrella of you making yourself the most frictionless recruit possible. Okay. We refer to our recruits as high levels of friction and low levels of friction. Okay. Guys with low levels of friction have perfect SATs, perfect ACT, perfect grades. They've never screwed up. They're in every club possible, and they saved a litter of kittens from a house fire at one point in time in their lives. Okay? So that's a low friction recruit. Guys who have discipline issues, guys that have low SATs. They've kind of screwed around a little bit as a freshman because someone's told them that the freshman year doesn't count. I don't know if you guys have heard that. My kids try to tell that to me. Freshman year counts, all right? For those of you that screwed that up, unfortunately, okay, everything counts. So you want to be the most frictionless recruit possible, regardless of what you can do out there, okay? Go to a high-end academic institution, okay? If you drop the ball every time and kick it out of bounds, but you're a perfect student, all right? For me, I'm going to work on the part that I can work on. All right. If you're the best player of all and you can't do it academically, there's nothing I can do. You guys understand that? Okay. So it's the entire subject of person right here. We need a guy who's a great student and a great athlete. Okay. You can augment your chances of playing on these rosters by being a better student. Got that? Okay. Went over testing. What's right? Couple of search right.
I would say cover that, and I would say we talk about
Correspondence?
Yeah.
Okay. So I get 20,000 emails in July and November. All right. And heaven forbid somebody screws up the schedule and I got to get a kid's schedule again. I get those updates right away. Okay. There is a C. All right, it looks like a teleprompter when my email's open right now. It's just over and over and over and over again. Okay, some of them are you guys. All right, it's every high school lacrosse player in the country is hammering every lacrosse coach in the country. Okay, so how do you set yourself apart? All right, my advice to you guys is in the subject line with your graduation year, with your GPA if it's good, okay, and your SATs if they're good in there. Your name and your high school. All right. I can't go into the body almost every time. All right, and read something about a kid. I will get emails from kids that say, "Dear Coach Shay, I'm really interested, John," and that's it. Okay. I need to read my emails as fast as possible. I need the grad year and I need the pertinent information in the subject every single time. Okay. That will make sure that you get filed the proper place and you get feedback hopefully from those coaches. I don't like Huddle because there's advertisements on there and I got to sit through an ad about something I'm not going to buy to see if you're a good enough player for us. That 5 or 10 seconds that I got to sit through eats into your chances of playing for me. Okay, YouTube is free. All right, it comes to me right away. I don't Yale doesn't like attachments. Don't attach an MP4 that's 10 megs. All right, that's going to come to my email. It won't get there. Go YouTube, make it simple. It's free. It's easy. It goes right away. You guys understand that? Don't do slow-mo. Don't do replays. Think about doing slow-mo, guys. You do slow-mo, I think you're slow. Don't do it. Don't do replays. I can rewind. I can do that. All right? No one needs to see it twice. Okay? A splash screen with your academic information, where you're from, all that pertinent information for just a couple seconds. Okay? And then no slow-mo lead intro into all this stuff. You know, putting your helmet on or something. I couldn't care less about that stuff. And it eats into your chances of me watching your video. You guys understand that? Okay? Quick, easy, right away. Cool? When you correspond with a coach, yeah, you know, like I said, you're going to do it 2 and 3 times, 4 or 5 times over the course of the year. Okay? Update that coach with information that is going to be something that he wants to see. You do really well on your SATs, let him know. Okay, once again, you become more frictionless when those grades and those SATs go up, and the coach is going to want to see that. Okay? What am I forgetting here, Coach?
How would you say? How do you decide once you've got 2 guys? It comes down to that. What's the criteria? Whether you pick one over the other, or do you offer the spot 2 versus the else?
Yeah, I mean, listen up. You know, when we decide on kids, we decide on everything. We want to make sure that the kid wants to play for us. Okay? We want to make sure that the kid, you know, is a lacrosse rat. That he cares about the right things. Just to give you some examples of guys that it went the wrong way. You know, a kid came on a visit. You know, he slouched in the chair. He insulted his mother. Said something disrespectful to his mother in the meeting. Okay. You guys think for a second. I don't know how you treat your parents, but if a kid's going to talk back to his mom in the meeting, what's he going to say to me when he comes to play for him? You know what I mean? So these are the types of things that we look at. We're evaluating at all times. Okay, guys will show up wearing, you know, I don't need you to wear a tuxedo, but maybe dress a little bit nice for the meeting. You don't have to put a tie on or anything. Guys showing up with cut off jean shorts, probably not going to go to Yale. You know what I mean? These are all things that you need to kind of consider. Maybe don't wear a hat on your unofficial visit to meet with these coaches. Show them that you're serious. Like, this is what I want to do. This is kind of like a job interview. All right, it really is a job interview because you're going to go there to go to school to get a job. It's important, and you want to treat it as such. Questions you ask the coach should intimate that you really want to play there, that you want to do well there academically, that you want to engage in the university life. You know, so as a for instance, kid came, slouched in the chair, rude to his mom. He asked me if we had 6 a.m. practices because he wasn't a morning person. Okay, we don't actually, but I probably should have told him we had 5 a.m. practices, and then we lost interest. So I don't want to meet a kid and find out that he wants to weave his way through the strictures that make us good. All right, so I wouldn't ask a question of a coach that doesn't make you look like you're not the guy that he wants. Does that make sense? Is that fair, Coach?
So that's very fair.
What else? What am I missing?
Well, I would just say, all I would say is, that's coaches kind of getting you here and distill it, not to take his thunder away. You walk through these holes, you walk around the school, you have a plaque and a team picture, right? My year. Some of them, with old guys like me, some of them recent, becoming part of a history of family here, right? To build that family, that criteria, right, stands the test of time, right? So all these things seem mundane, right? But you don't want misfits in the family, right? You want people that can detract from that culture of narrative. So he's giving you some points here that aren't that hard, but you have to be mindful.
Yeah, and I think, guys, just so you know, like, this is a long process for you guys. I think much is made of September 1st of your junior year, and that's obviously a big date for a lot of guys who are the top guys. I think if you look back at the guys that everyone thinks is the best guys on that day, they don't end up being the best guys later on. You know, I was just watching the PL All-Star game, and we have a Yale graduate in the All-Star game, Brian Tevlin. Brian Tevlin was a middling to low-level Division III recruit. Okay, we ended up taking him late in the process because we saw some things in him. That's another story entirely. We saw some things in him that other people didn't necessarily see. Okay, he's a hard-working, impressive young man that I thought had potential to exceed what everyone else thought in that moment. Okay, he ended up being a two-time captain for us here at Yale, which is I don't think has ever happened. It's never happened in my time here. We only have one captain at Yale. He was a captain twice. Now, part of it had to do with the fact they canceled our 21 season, and he stayed for 22 season. But he remains one of the best captains I've ever had. He had an extra year of eligibility and went to Notre Dame the next year and became their captain in 3 weeks. Imagine that. A major Division I powerhouse invites a kid from another college to play his 5th year, and his leadership is so strong that he's actually named their captain before he probably even unpacked his toothbrush. Let's be honest, right? So Brian Tevlin was not a major Division I recruit. Nobody wanted him, okay? We ended up taking him late. He worked very hard every single day that he was here. He listened to his coaches. He trusted the process, so much so that he would throw it back in my face. All right, if I thought that you know, things weren't looking great or whatever, he'd be like, we got it, coach, trust the process. And I'd be like, okay, let's go. Like, the kid ended up leading me. So, you know, he is a great example of a guy who just kept working, kept getting better every single day, and we have a lot of those. You guys could be one of those, wherever you end up, okay? And it's important for you to understand, okay, that you shouldn't choose your college on the basis of lacrosse. It is a sliver of time in your life. You know, I played Division III ball, and I didn't, you know, it has definitely changed my life. You know, I became a college lacrosse coach, and it's meant the world to me, but I didn't need to play at a high level Division I in order to do what I do. I just kind of, it was my path, and I'm thankful that I had that path. Whatever happens on September 1st or thereafter, okay, September 1st, if September 1st it defines you and your process and the rest of your life, you're doing it the wrong way, okay? It's a long road, all right? Wherever you end up, just make sure you make the best of it, okay?
Can you talk about the recruiting process in terms of the head coach, the assistant coaches, and how that dynamic works in terms of interaction? Brings more specifically, should the kids always the head coach directives?
No, we should email everyone on staff.
Okay.
I get more emails than all of my assistants, and my assistants are better at harvesting those. So, for the email game is just, it's constant, moving them into folders, replying to entire folders at once, and it's a nightmare. So yes, you should definitely keep everyone. You want a blast radius that's as big as you possibly can put on there. You know what I mean? You put the trainer on there for all I care. I'm sure that people are going to be mad at me for saying that. But you want as many people to see it as possible so you can kind of get that hook in there.
We got time for one more here to go. We break.
Okay.
How do this that's invest some of the input that there or
Brian's I don't want to. So we do something a little bit different. So when we want to find out about a kid, we don't ask a coach how tough he is, because every coach is going to say he's tough. So what we say is we ask the coach to tell me a story, and what that does is it pits the coach in a corner where he either has to make something up or there really isn't a story. And Brian's story is phenomenal, and it has to do with the death of his brother, and I don't want to get into it, but he is just the character off the charts, just off the charts. And so that story came out pretty quick. So if I say to Coach Rife, hey man, he's like, this kid's really tough. I'm like, how tough is he? Tell me a story. He pulled a knife on his home ec teacher. Well, that's pretty tough. We probably can't get to Yale then, but So like, but those are the types of things. If there's a story on the tip of his tongue, we're gonna find out how great that kid is. If it's like, no, he's tough, I'll think of something. It's over. There's no story. If that makes sense. That's how we do it. I don't know how anyone else does it. That's kind of like a trade secret that we like to. I tell my staff that we've gotten some really good guys. But the first kid we took with that broke his hand. His team was 0-10, and he ended up cutting off his cast 2 weeks before the doctor wanted him to. They won 4 games, made the state tournament, went to the state finals, lost in the state finals. I'm like, that's the kid we want. And he never played for us, but he didn't quit, and he was great all 4 years. Great kid. But that's the type of character that we wanted. And toughness. That's how we do it. So you guys want to come to Yale, have a story. Do something. I'll be around if you want to. If anybody didn't get their questions answered, I'll hang around.
Gentlemen, guys, give it up.